Ooh, I'm in the dark. Good morning, everyone. I figured I better do this right now before everybody gets up. It's still dark here. I don't even know what time it is. We have some sad news. Well, it hasn't quite happened yet, and my little dog, Maddie, gosh, she's been with me now for close to 15 years, going on 16. And she's always done really well. She didn't, yeah, she's just always by my side. Took her everywhere I went, too. And she started a few days ago after we got back from a walk. I noticed the day before her hind legs somehow weren't quite obeying her 100% anymore. She's been losing her eyesight, but still doing good. And in the last few days, progressively, it seemed like something just not right with her. She started jerking, like twitching movements, and at times she couldn't get up, then suddenly it'd be better. And yeah, so one would take an old dog like that to the vet, and then what? I know how these things go. It's first of all, she doesn't like, I felt in the shape that she was already in, it would be just more traumatizing. X-rays, so they would want to do X-rays, blood work, because just looking at her, you're not going to know what's going on. I went and checked it out, see, okay, the symptoms she had, it's most likely she has a tumor on her brain, something that neurological that's just not good anymore. Considering her age, it's possible. Yeah, so there is that. I ruled out that she was bit by a copperhead, and maybe that caused some problems because I couldn't find, there was no swelling or anything. I couldn't find no bite marks. So, and I thought, did she get into something? It's like, oh, this could be poisoning or something. But ruled that out because she wasn't vomiting. She's not vomiting. She's not. It's just suddenly she has this weird stuff going on. So I'm not taking her to the vet. She's too old. I'm making her comfortable. I've been giving her some ibuprofen, which calmed down the twitching and stuff, which yesterday seemed like, oh, she's not really, she didn't eat for a couple of days. She drink a lot of water, but didn't eat anything. Then I tempted her with stew meat, and sure enough, she gobbled that down, and gobbled down some chicken I made her. So that's about it. And it seemed like she was better. Is not incontinent. I take her out and she pee a river, but didn't poop. And then this morning she had a seizure. So it kind of tells me something neurologically, maybe a tumor on her brain or something. So why would I take her in to the vet? They won't know that either. They'd have to make all these tests, and I end up with $1,000 bill I can't afford. And as I said, she's old. She's not a young dog that you say, well, and surgery for her, that would just be, I mean, it's not. Mm-mm. So I'm making her comfortable. She's laying in there right now, no twitching, nothing going on. That's the odd thing. After she had the seizure, she laid there for a while, and then I can see her from here, and then she suddenly jumped up. Now what's she doing now? She knows I'm talking about her. Maddie! Maddie! And, and that was funny. she had the seizure. I mean, it was clearly a seizure. I'm going, oh my gosh, is she dying right now? And then the seizure stopped, and she was just breathing really hard. I thought, this is it. She's dying. Is that with her? She's dying. And I suddenly smell something, going, no, she just pooped some. I guess through the seizure or something. I don't know. Well, anyway, so I'm looking at. I think my little one's last days are coming. It's hard to tell because yesterday I thought she was getting better again. It's like, oh look, she's recuperating because I thought it could have been a stroke. And well, anyway, so it's like, oh dear me, just make her comfortable. She doesn't seem to be suffering. The first day she had this twitching go. She was also yelping, but it seemed like an involuntary yelp, not necessarily pain. Well, anyway, so I started giving her the ibuprofen. She gets a half in the morning and a half at night, and that seems to be helping. She gets up, and oh yeah, so after the seizure, she suddenly jumped up on all her jumped up on all fours and went, huh? What? I thought you were just dying. What just happened? So I took her outside, but she didn't do anything. Well, anyway, so there it is. We have a little. It's when you have animals, you have to be prepared for things like that. She has been, still is now, a companion of mine for a long, long time, and we had some really interesting times together. Anywho, so there it is. I'm looking at having to say goodbye to one of my little four-legged friends, and yeah, so well, I'm not very emotional about it or anything. No, that always comes afterwards. I have my moment. It's with people the same thing. Where I have my moments, and then it's just a part of, that's where they are. I found it interesting. Many of the animals we've had here, and as I said, the animals we have here, they all have a happy, very happy life. They live life. They live life like, I guess, kind of like I do. And are allowed to be the animals that they are, right? I remember when Lance passed away, that was the dog we brought with us from California, and when he passed away, we called him our thunder dog. Oh my gosh, I've never seen a dog since then, and after that would, in a thunderstorm, I mean lightning, thunder, rain, and he'd be running up and down here on the stretch, just barking at the thunder and the lightning, and it's like, go away. I mean, it was like, that was his favorite thing to do. And after he passed away, haven't heard anything in a while now, but after he passed away, it's almost as if his spirit couldn't leave the place just yet, right? Animals and plants, they go back into the creation. They become part of the energy of the creation again. That's an amazing thing, too, on how that works, or how I've experienced that. And every so often in a thunderstorm, I'd still hear him barking. Right? Yes, but he had already passed away. And after Doolittle passed away, our little ones, that was a sad passing. He ended up drowning in the pond because he was just not all there anymore. There was definitely dementia going, but he was 16, 17 years old, and didn't notice he got out. And yeah, well, anyway, he was missing, and I'm going, ugh. And then you have to wait. After about 2 days, I saw him floating there. And he too, he liked it. Just tap around in the house, right? Looking for a place. Where else could I pee, right? Just marking it. That was just the dog he was. So he didn't get in the house too often, but he did, especially when in his later days when I did. It's like, okay. And and sometimes I still hear him, I'd hear the clicking of his little toenails. So it's one of those things, right, where, yeah, your animals stick around for a while. Yeah, I bet Maddie'll stick around for a long time if she passes. Oh, she's moving. What's she doing? Oh, she's getting up. She's definitely not doing so good. All right. So there it is. Yeah, sometimes certain things happen out there. I wonder if Liam's still chasing them horses around. That's our Billy Goat. That also got really, really old. All right, we are on 7 in Genesis. So here's a little, 7 on Genesis. Oh, wait a minute. Are we on? Oh, that was 5. I wrote that down wrong, and I gotta go change that. That was 5. This is 6. Okay. Then y'all are. I'm already getting confused. I just started. I need to mark that. I need to mark them off. That's what I need to do. Yeah, mark my Bible. Ugh, this one doesn't have too much. I don't think I put any. I've got some things in here, but my other Bible has. Oh, the Divine Principle. Oh, it's marked everywhere. That's my own part in the Bible. All right, Genesis 6. Sons of God and women. When people began being numerous on earth and daughters had been born to them, the sons of God. Oh, now we're talking about women, or still just the men. Oh, we got a mention. Okay, that's good. The son, okay, can't help it. The sons of God, looking at the women, saw how beautiful they were and married as many of them as they chose. Okay. All right, here we go, guys. You got the okay. Oh my gosh. I'm just. All right, I'm not. Hey, look. Some of this was written by man. Wasn't just God inspired. I know that. Well, I know the problems that there are out there now. I know the problems when you read up on history with the kings and the emperors, and they had these harems, and there was just mayhem, right? Yeah, why? All fighting for one dude. They just not a good thing. I mean, okay, Yahweh said, I see. That's where the Mormons get all their, right? Yes? And okay, a lot of them don't do that, but there are still some. That's where they're getting it. They get, hey, we got the okay from God. Yahweh said, my spirit cannot be indefinitely responsible for human beings who are only flesh. Let the time allowed each be 120 years. Huh? What? So he dropped the age of people or something? Is that what that means? The Nephilim were on earth in those days, and even afterwards, when the sons of God resorted to the women and had children by them. These were the heroes of days gone by, men of renown. Man, that's a weird one. I don't know. As a woman, I'm reading this going, what? Well, I mean, when you look at it, okay, so the race of God, the human beings, under the guidance of God, needed to be numerous quickly, right? So, well, all right. So, the best thing to do then is what? Have one guy has a lot of women, have a lot of kids. Again, were they all taken care of? These kids? Well, I guess. I'm not sure how that all worked. I've never been in a relationship like that with a guy who had, I mean, in a way. All right, then y'all don't go in that into that. But I guess it's something that guys would have to discuss. Surely every dude would like to have 2 or 3 women, right? I guess, right? But does that feel right? I wonder. Right? So, and then in the New Testament, well, we'll get to that, but where Jesus said 1 man and 1 woman in a union, right? Then, okay, well, now what? Right? So, what the heck's the Old Testament all about then? If this is, right? I wonder. That's something that the dudes, I guess, the men have to discuss amongst each other and say, all right, well, okay, I can't, I don't know. As a woman, I don't want to share my guy. That's not going to happen. And then I'll either have, either I have to make sure that's not happening, or I'll have to leave the relationship. It's one or the other. The corruption. What about that? Well, thou shalt not commit adultery. Well, if you're married to all of them, then that wouldn't be it, really. Okay, I'm confused now. All right, well, it's there. Right? It says, let's get going. I could just talk on that one. Why read the rest? Oh, just a little tiny little thing. Now we're in the flood. The corruption of humanity. Yahweh saw that human wickedness was great on earth, and that human hearts contrived nothing but wicked schemes all day long. Yahweh regretted having made human beings on earth, and was grieved at heart. And Yahweh said, I shall rid the surface of the earth of the human beings whom I created, human and animal, the creeping things and the birds of heaven. For I regret having made them. But Noah won Yahweh's favor. This is the story of Noah. Noah was a good man, an upright man, among his contemporaries, and he walked with God. Noah fathered 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. God saw that the earth was corrupt and full of lawlessness. God looked at the earth, it was corrupt, for corrupt were the ways of all living things on earth. This to me is an odd one too. Again, I don't see, why would God, I mean, he could just send some kind of a disease disease where the human beings just aren't there anymore. But what was wrong with the animals or the plants? Why did everything have to? Right? Suddenly, everything was good. On the 6 days of creation, everything was good. Now suddenly he's deciding everything is bad? I can't see that really happening. I can't see that that's what happened exactly. Okay. So, did God just have to take a step back and say, I'm going to have to start all over again? I have to find me a different restoration path with a different person than Seth. I think that's maybe why we had to read through the genealogy of Adam and Seth, and where then Noah emerged. Right? Yeah, well, it said Noah was kind of special. So the flood, is this just all trying to just, hey, can't stay in God's embrace, not in the Garden of Eden and not out in the world if things aren't according to the laws of heaven? Well, anyway, not sure, but I find it interesting and again, we know all this because we have the internet, so we know more, right? We can see more of what's going on around the world, in our own country, even in our own county. But when I see all the floods happening everywhere, right? All around the world, all these things, but especially with water, I'm going, oh, wow, interesting. What's going on? What are we being told, right? Build your homes on high ground. Be a little bit more aware on where you park your car, park your life, right? Yes? Yeah, interesting. Well, anyway. After the dam broke in New Orleans, caused all this destruction, I said, well, surely they're not going to rebuild right down in that valley again, right? Yeah. Well, they did. I thought to myself, well, that's not very smart. That could happen again. Right? It could. How's that? Why would they do that? That's like just waiting for another disaster to happen to humankind, not nature. Well, anyway, that's what it is, right? But did God really flip-flop like that? I mean, this was just, I don't know how much past okay, that took billions of years, but to create the earth, everything was good. God's so meticulous with everything. It's amazing. It was so. I saw a bug yesterday. I said to a friend that's here, I said, "Hey, look at this bug." I said, "Man, I've seen a few over the years, but they're very rare here." And it was like one of those little tiny bugs. They weren't very big, and it could fly. It was not a stinger or anything, but it had these iridescent colors, right? Of blue and like shining, right? Blue and green and some other like gold or bronze or something. But oh my God, look at this! Just absolutely gorgeous and beautiful, right? Yes. So all these things out there are so meticulously, just the way the earth was created, with how it rotates and everything out there in the universe that helps it to sustain itself. Then how everything here grows, how the animals, how everything just works. And then suddenly he's unhappy with that. I can't quite see that be the truth, but it's in here, so again, people write things down in the way that they think or perceive it. Well, God must have turned his back on us, which I don't think he's ever done. People were corrupt at that time. Gotta blame someone for all the stuff. God was blamed. All right. Well, there we go. I think we found the truth here now. Preparations for the flood. God said to Noah, I have decided that the end has come for all living things, for the earth is full of lawlessness because of human beings. Man, that didn't take time already to get to that point, huh? I'm sure something was going on. All right, so I am now about to destroy them and the earth. What is it going to do? Blow it up? What? Make yourself an ark out of resinous wood. Make it of reeds and caulk it and with pitch inside and out. This is how to make it. The length of the ark is to be 300 cubits, its breadth 50 cubits, and its height 30 cubits. Make a roof to the ark, building it up to a cubit higher. But the entrance in the side of the ark, which is to be made with lower second and third decks. For my part, I am going to send the flood, the waters on earth to destroy all living things, having the breath of life under heaven. Everything on earth is to perish. But with you I shall establish my covenant, and you will go aboard the ark, yourself, your sons, your wife, and your sons' wives, along with you. Oh, Noah only had one wife? It says your wife, not wives. From all living creatures, from all living things, you must take 2 of each kind. Oh, maybe the sons of God and women, that was the precursor of, man, they're still doing what they're not supposed to do. Nothing's getting restored. The men they're not getting what that means to, to be a man and have a woman. Oh, well, could be that. From all living creatures, from all living things, you must take two of each kind. It only talks about animals in the ark, not plants. So they must have took plants too? Doesn't say to build a greenhouse. Okay. And you must take two of each kind aboard the ark to save their lives with yours. They must be a male and a female, of every species of bird, of every kind of animal, and of every kind of creature that creeps along the ground. Two must go with you, so that their lives may be saved. For your part, provide yourself with eatables of all kinds, and lay in a store of them, to serve as food for yourself and them. Noah did this exactly as God commanded him. He did. That's 6. I've got to mark that. I don't have anything out here. Tomorrow I won't remember what I read. Well, anyway, so there it is. The beginning of another restoration plan. That's what I'm hearing. Did it exactly happen as? Well, they say they found the ark. Yeah, I remember I was a child. They said they found it somewhere on top of a mountain, parts of it. Deciduous wood. I know that there is wood that when you cut it at the right time, I think it's after all the sap has gone out, down into the roots and stuff, just before winter, you can cut wood, and that wood won't burn. It won't even burn. It'll get black, but it won't burn, and get really hard. It's really hard wood. Is that what that means? Residuous. Well, anyway, wouldn't that be on Residuous? Well, okay, all right. Gotta go and look up the word. Not sure what it actually means when it comes to wood. Very durable. So, sounds to me like God wasn't going to destroy everything because, he told Noah what to do. Get to higher ground, isn't it? They build a ship like this, ark. The ark, right? Then that means get to higher ground. Make sure you float and not sink or get washed out, so that he could survive with his family. And then save something of everything, which is, gosh, by now we know, right? All the things that, dear me, that boat had to be huge. It's a story. And these stories are all about restoration. All about trying to do what? Eliminate evil. Eliminate corruption. It says right in there, right? Corruption. To eliminate corruption. I was told by someone, again, we have interesting porch talks here, that the last, we talked about it a few weeks ago, there was one man, I think it was in South America, they found that the last tribe, okay, there may be, they say that was the last unknown tribe they found, and there was one man left alive of that tribe. The last tribe, undiscovered tribe, was discovered. What are you going to say now with the next one that they might just discover? Okay, I'm just saying. It's all just to hype it up and make it more interesting, right? The last one. Well, yeah, I'm going to go check it out. And he wouldn't let anybody have anything to do with him. He wouldn't share anything. He would not talk about his tribe. He wouldn't. I don't know if they maybe didn't even know his language or something, but he was the last one, and we just talked about it again yesterday, and he has passed away now. Last one of his tribe, gone. Just like Ishi, the last Yahi, gone. Oh, there you go. People so worried about animals and plants dying out, right? There are human tribes. The last one gone, no more. Knowledge, whatever they had, all lost. It was never, and he wouldn't have anything to do with anyone. They found him, but he wouldn't have nothing to do with them. One thing I say that he was afraid of disease. Yeah, yep. But totally isolated, probably in the jungle somewhere where it's hard to get to, and he lived there by himself till his death. Interesting. I'm going to go and read up more on that. I find that an interesting story, and maybe someone did, huh? We just don't know yet. Surely there'll be a book out about it somewhere, at some point. Interesting. Separate yourself, or you're born that way. You're separated from everyone out there. You're only in your own tribe, with your own rules, with your own way of life, which a lot of it is to just survive. Can you imagine living in the jungle, Amazon jungle or something, with all them critters that, one bite or this or that, and you're dead? I mean, it must be difficult to live in a place like that. Then they have these raining times, right? I mean, it just rains and rains and rains for months, right? And man, that's got to be something. You got to be prepared for that, to live like that. So, just no different than the Inuits. I like the word Eskimo. I thought that was a really pretty word, Eskimo. I always thought that was a really pretty word, even as a child. Eskimo and igloos. They're like these enchanting words, right? Like magic. Eskimo and igloo. Yeah, anyway, but suddenly now, can't say Eskimo because that's offensive. I don't know why it's offensive. Inuits. Inuits, it's a nice word too, I have to say, Inuits, but it isn't as nice as Eskimo. Well, anyway, okay. Well, look at them. They live in the snow most of the year, right? In igloos, in ice homes. Right? But they stay and keep warm. They figured out how to do that. They survive. You wonder about that. And they live off of fishing, seals and stuff, right? That's some of their main diet. Not anymore now, I'm sure, but and then they have times, I don't know, how do you grow a tree in a place like that with fruit on it? Or grow vegetables? I'm not sure. Something to go check out. But they lived mainly on protein. They did just fine. And now you have to wonder about the food pyramid, right? Yeah, I'm just saying. Right? What's made up? What's true and what's made up? And how did God design people around the world to survive where they're at? Right? Yes? Yeah. Why do we have different tans or this or that? Maybe so that in the areas that we are born, as well as who we are born, and on the continent we are born, we can survive, right? And make it easier on us. Right? If you have darker skin, though I did ask one time, I asked a friend I had who was black, I said, hey, do you get a sunburn too? Can't see it. I said, if you would get one, I guess. But I said, she said, yeah. Yeah, I get a sunburn. I have to be careful too. Right? Oh, interesting. Didn't know that. You'd think that's not possible, but it is. Yes. So the skin reacts exactly the same. So why the extra pigment? Right? That's good. There has to be a reason for that. Well, anywho, that doesn't matter here in this country. We're such a mixed pot of everyone. Getting more so mixed up, right? Love finds its way through all kinds of difficulties and people, regardless. So, interesting. All this interesting stuff out there that one should pay a little bit more attention to than what we decide to pay attention to. Just to know, right? To know how does one survive more, better? I bet we could learn a lot from each other. Yes? Ha! There was a show, a cooking show. And, what was it called? It's a new one, I think. Well, anyway, two great chefs against each other. One of them is already Iron Chef. And there's this lady, I guess she was Korean, because they were talking about kimchi. She said, I make kimchi out of everything. And my daughter was sitting there, and we started laughing. After she won, she ended up winning that particular pair-off. And she said, Mom, look, she's just like you. She makes kimchi out of everything. I was told you can't just make kimchi out of everything. I said, yeah, watch me. And not everything always worked out, but most of it did. That's good. I love kimchi. I don't like it too fermented. That's not my thing, but it's good. And, well, anyway, she says, look, Mom, she's just like you. You're already doing that too. She's not the first one. I'm older than that lady. I'm sure there's other people out there too. So that was interesting to get into. First, when I got to know Korean food, oh my gosh, I thought, man, these people, they eat rotten food. It all looks and tastes rotten. Not looks, but smelled rotten, tasted rotten. I could not. It was like just weird. It was weird, new food. Could. And then you're long enough around, and you just about get addicted. So because I ended up being around it all the time, then I had a couple of friends who, and cooked a lot of Korean food, and I got to know other things. Right? Oh, that's really good. Ooh, I really love that. Also, I did not grow up with a lot of spicy food, so that was a new one. And I had to get used to that. I got used to it. Eventually, I could eat really spicy stuff, and it didn't bother me at all. Well, anyway, so I come to love Korean food. Made a lot of Korean food myself. Yeah, kind of a la Daniela, just like, because the ingredients aren't cheap, and I just worked with what I had. And then Mexican food. I've never had Mexican food before. I've been to Spain a few times, and that food's completely different. Oh my gosh, I remember we'd go, my children had this favorite restaurant, so we went for every birthday. We went, that was one of the special things we did on their birthdays. We'd go to that Mexican restaurant, and I tried everything. Yeah, I mean, I would eat it, I would love it, and I would chuck it up. Couldn't keep it down. There must have been a spice that my system just wasn't used to, coming from a different continent, growing up differently with different food, right? And I couldn't keep it down. Oh, so sad, so I got really careful. So I found one thing, enchiladas were okay. I could eat enchiladas, chicken enchiladas. So that's what I ate every time. Then I got used to it. Somehow, suddenly, now I'm good. I can eat a burrito, and I can, and it's all good. It's not bothering me anymore. But my system had to get used to it, right? New food that it's never had. My body wasn't designed to digest Mexican food for one reason or another. Anyway, interesting? Yes? Oh, what does that have to do with the flood? Restoration. Well, we're talking about restoration too. God had to find another way. Made a covenant with Noah again, right? In a way to try and figure out. He was trying to make a covenant with Cain and Abel too, right? That didn't work. Right? And then, why the offering otherwise? And then here is Noah. Now he's trying again. And somehow has to just let go of everyone else. You got a lot of waters come. If you don't step out of the way, you're not going to be stronger than water. You won't be stronger than fire either. You have to prepare. One has to prepare for things that are much stronger than you are so you can survive. I think God made this covenant with Noah and said, you will be strong. You will survive. And this is how you will survive. So is this the ark just a story with all the animals, this and that? I don't know. I wasn't there. So why would I speculate on that? What I would like to know, though, or, give more thought to, because I have a heart to mind. I'm a thinking person. I'm a person of a good heart as well. I have a conscience. I would think though I don't know what happened there exactly, I should try at least to understand God's intentions, right? And that they're not, God's intentions would never be bad. And that just as we should, and if we don't, things aren't going so well, or they just start to fall apart. Destruction is just a part of one's life then. That we have to keep the laws of heaven. And so does our Father in heaven. Our heavenly parent has to keep those laws too. You know how often, right? Parents tell their children, don't do this, don't do that. And then the children watch their parents do it. Right? Yes? I'm not talking about safety things that the children aren't ready yet to do. I think one of them is, you seldom hear a child cuss or curse. Right? I've heard it too. The parents, I guess, don't care at all. But most of the time, no, don't say, that's a bad word, don't say that. But then the parents themselves say it. Right? Yes? Yeah. That's a good example, isn't it? Do as I say, not as I do. I don't think God is like that. God is exactly under the same principles as we are. He adheres to them faithfully, and so should we. Well, anyway, there it is. And that's why I think some stories in the Bible sound so rigid. Not just rigid, but downright, oh my gosh, what? What happened during Noah's flood? And why? And one has to say, okay, I'm a thinking person. I'm a heart-to-mind person. I have a conscience. Why? And one can't find the answers. Oh, maybe talk long enough on a video and get to it. And well, anyway, that's what I have to share today. God's love, blessings always. And I will talk to you another time. I'm going to go and check on my little one in there now.